And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Jumping the Crypto, episode 783. Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. I'm King.
I'm Bitcoin Zay, and we are here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
At 10-ish. And today's top stories. El Salvador president announces infrastructure already being built ahead of country's Bitcoin adoption. Riot Blockchain reports 1,540% increase in quarterly revenue from Bitcoin mining, USDC to consolidate reserves into cash and US treasuries, and FTX buys naming rights to Cal Memorial Stadium for 10 years and $17.5 million deal. And of course, Bitcoin Zay, what's going on with those prices?
Oh, yeah. So let's take a look at our prices for today. Bitcoin had a bit of a dip at $48,559, down 3.5%. Ethereum at $3,241, down 3.7%. Cardano at $271, down 7% today. Binance Coin at $480, down 4.4%. XRP at $119 is down as well at almost 8%. Dogecoin at 29 cents is down 7.7%. At number 9, Polkadot is 26.19, down 6.9%. And rounding out our top 10 is Solana at $74, up 1.7%. So bit of a drop after a lot of greed in the market and euphoria. But of course, again, you want to continue holding. We're just getting started.
All right, definitely just getting started. And before we actually start today's show, I want to give a shout out to the GSX project. They are our sponsors for the day. Shout out to GSX. Of course, we're going to show you a short pre-roll and post-roll after the show. But go ahead and check out GSX. They're partner with Apollo Fintech. So they have some competition, some other interesting things. Go and make sure you check them out as well. GSX is the world's first growth coin that is backed by assets in real code. They are currently running a campaign of the biggest crypto competition ever. GSX has the Ultimate Referral Competition, the Golden Millionaire Competition, and the $1 Million Supercar Competition, each with a grand prize of $1 million in gold in GSX, with the first two places also taking home Supercar. GSX is a stablecoin trust backed by physical gold and mines. GSX holders are the trust beneficiaries of the companies involved, the mines, the equipment, and buildings, the future refinery, and all land rights, gold and metals therein. What this means is that even if something were to ever happen to Apollo Fintech, the assets would be sold and the proceeds would go directly to the holders of GSX. GSX will be redeemable for its gold value, so it will help it to maintain a more constant price. One of the best elements of GSX is the vision behind it. The vision behind GSX is to create the perfect investment instrument. The number one goal behind GSX is to mine and process every element of lithium-ion batteries, setting GSX up for partnerships with some of the world's largest companies. There it is. Again, shout out to GSX for today's show sponsor. And of course, that is a sponsored advertisement for those wondering as well. I want to give some quick shouts again. I was going to Leroy Forbes, Dylan Darcheville, Madam Crypto, Les Square, Sis Yaya L, DC, Chappie. Yes, another NFT comic drop today. I saw that. Damon King, Dallas Pipes, JB, Milto, hello all. And thanks for joining. Make sure you smash that like and share button as we get the show started. Top story of the day, El Salvador president announces infrastructure already being built ahead of country's Bitcoin adoption. What's going on there, Bitcoin Zay?
Oh, yeah. So as you may know, we did the story on El Salvador having Bitcoin adoption in their country. And according to Nayib Bukele, there will be 200 ATMs and 50 branches capable of converting Bitcoin into US dollars starting on September 7th, which is when they're doing their $30 airdrop. So one of the biggest things about this story, 4.5 million adults live in El Salvador, and they'll have the option of holding Bitcoin when they do this airdrop. However, some people will withdraw in cash. So they have over 200 ATMs available for them. And of course, the 50 branches available as well, because as we've always said, Bitcoin adoption in smaller countries takes some time because everybody doesn't accept Bitcoin. This isn't the case in El Salvador. There are a lot of places where they can exchange it for cash and then use it, as well as buy with Bitcoin, because if you accept it, they can do that. However, there will be holders. So shout out to Nayib Bukele for taking the stand with Bitcoin. Even with the IMF and the World Bank threatening them, he was like, you know what? We're still going forward with this. We got companies who want to come here. We have our people that want to use Bitcoin. So shout out to them. And their people will be able to use it starting September 7th. So in solidarity, a lot of people are saying September 7th, everybody buy $30 worth of Bitcoin. So you could also do that as well.
So what you're telling me is that September 6th, I need to go ahead and open up that margin call for that 100x going until 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. that morning.
Yeah.
I got it.
100x short because it'll be a lot of selling probably.
Oh, that's a good point. That is good. So, okay, I take that back. On the 5th, on the 4th and 5th, I need to open up that call long. And then on the 6th, I need to get ready to get that short call in. Got it, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's good to see everything that's happening over in El Salvador. And I'm trying to stay back from the mic. I'm like a mad rapper who just wants to grab that thing, but that's why I'm so loud in it. But no, I'm loving what I'm seeing is going on in El Salvador. Like you said, they're continuing to push through, whether they're getting threats from the IMF or whatever monetary authority out there, of course, saying they're going to defund them or they're not going to back this anymore. Oh, we already giving you this $20 billion loan. I'm glad to see that they're still pushing forward. And this is what people have to understand, like the moment they figure out the thing to really capture the entire population for mass adoption to happen and work at a scalable pace where, you can get everybody on a cryptocurrency, you can teach them how to actually use it, and people actually start to use it. I mean, those are three totally different things. But if they can figure out the rest of people that, I can see other countries following along, of course, and we will see the dominoes start to fall as far as what countries are pro and anti-crypto from there. So that's gonna be pretty cool to see.
Oh yeah, we're looking at you, Paraguay. They'll probably be the next one.
There it is. All right. Here are some pretty interesting reports. Riot Blockchain. I guess this answers the question. Everyone had, we were talking about this at the beginning of the year. A few people were on our Talk Shop Live series, and then as well in the chat were saying, hey, is it better or is it a good look to diversify in some of the stocks, the shovels, the picks and shovels as Bitcoins, they would say, rather than Bitcoin. So it looks like Riot is doing pretty good. Riot Blockchain reports 1,540% increase in quarterly revenue from Bitcoin mining. That's right. Riot Blockchain netted $19.3 million in income for Q2 following its acquisition of Texas mining facility Whinstone. Bitcoin's there. I saw you shaking your head. What's going on there?
Oh man. So I always tell people, if you want to be Bitcoin adjacent, this is a great way to do it. Invest in mining companies. If you don't want to buy Bitcoin directly, you at least can look at the industry of Bitcoin mining and see the upside is ridiculous. The risk reward is nothing like it. So of course, if you don't want to buy Bitcoin or crypto directly, you can actually be adjacent to it. And it looks as though Riot Blockchain, which is very popular, can be traded on a lot of platforms, including eToro, even the main brokerages, you can actually trade it on there. The CEO actually says here, Riot is aggressively expanding its capacity at Whinstone, the facility they just bought in Texas, which is expected to provide the critical infrastructure necessary to successfully execute on driving continued growth for the company. So, of course, Riot, they purchased this facility for $650 million. So they got to get that money back, baby. So they are honestly, this is dropping a bucket for them trying to make that money back. But they are on pace to basically make that money back and make billions, I think, in the future with more investment. So shout out to Riot Blockchain. Also shout out to Corey Klepstein. He is the CEO of Swan. He's actually on the board for Riot Blockchain. He told me about this 3 years ago when it got started. So it's good to see blockchain mining companies are able to get a lot of funding as well during this time period.
Yeah, so again, it's curious to me how the U.S. is going to move forward when it comes to mining facilities here. Of course, you had the whole energy debate or whatever, which has since fell flat on its face, I guess. I haven't heard much of that debate as of recent, but of course, you had the whole energy debate. But also, I mean, it's one of those things where if this infrastructure bill finally passes through and everything is going to be what it says is in the bill and it will be enforced, and you can essentially be looking at miners as being brokers, and then they'll have their own new set of rules and laws and tax code, I guess, to go by, depending on what the federal government's looking at.
Hopefully not, because if you start following miners brokers, you're gonna have to. That's a whole nother round of taxation and rules they're gonna have to make up. And we all know our government is lazy; they're not trying to do anything new. So I can see them just keeping it how it is now and just trying to regulate the on ramps and off ramps.
There it is. Alapio, what's going on? Said buy the rumor, sell the news. You already know it. What's going on, John Moses? What's going on, D Big? Mining is like sharecropping, needs to go away. What? Lisa Lee, hey, crypto family. For sure, entertainment said I missed the Riot play last year. But see, here's the thing: like when you look at stuff like Riot, it's still super early. So I mean, it's still a ton of growth left for it. When you talk about mining facilities, people in the United States, if you ask someone in the United States, do we have a Bitcoin mining facility in the country? Like one of those walk up people on the street, like you're gonna get a 50-50 yes and no. People are not like a mining facility, like a gold, they're not gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think we're still super early there. What's going on, Deion Smith, Kim Booker, Sis Yaya L. What's going on, everyone? Everyone, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see, and Carino, what's going on? So I missed yesterday. Finally sobered up since the Mondrian. I should have had those last 3 bottles before valet. Hilarious. Listen, yeah, I was done yesterday still. I need that full 48 hours to get my life back together. So I'm with you on that.
Oh, yeah, me too. I'm old. Yeah, I need recovery time.
Nappy Waves, what's going on? Fred is right. We need to get those miners on the show. They are too busy making the money. That's a good point. We do need to get an actual miner on the show. I know Bitcoin, they used to mine Litecoin, but we need to get one of these OG Bitcoin miners on the show and see what they're talking about. That would be pretty good to get their thoughts. Like, I haven't talked to a lot of bigger miners in the space, so I would like to hear their thoughts on what they should be viewed as, or they should be viewed as anything at all. Again, the whole point of what the government's trying to do right now, as well as these companies, is they're just trying to stir up the narrative and then catch what they can catch with it, right? Like that's why they're trying to pass these bills, and they're trying to say, well, now you're a broker, you can mine, or this is a hosted or unhosted crypto wallet. Like they're adding all this narrative into it so that can give them right to enforce whatever they want to come up with overnight. So again, miners are miners, nothing more, nothing less. But as the government continues to try to change those terms, we will see what happens with it. All right, USDC is in the news. USDC to consolidate reserves into cash and U.S. Treasuries. Coinbase president Emily, is it Emily? Lie.
I think it's Emily Choi.
I'm messing. Emily Choi expects USDC's updated reserves policy to be in full effect by September. Coinbase president and chief operating officer Emily Choi has announced that the reserves backing the stablecoin USD coin will be consolidated into cash and United States government treasuries. That's the USDC. It's actually interesting that they're talking about this because didn't they just have a audit? I thought was that Circle is backed by USDC is backed by Circle, right?
Yeah. Well, the issue by Circle. Yep, absolutely. So that's basically Goldman Sachs. Yeah, actually, Goldman Sachs who owns Circle. So
supposedly they just had an audit. It's right here in front of my face too. People, we tell you, we read the headlines, but we do our research so we know what we're talking about. But yeah, as this story actually says, the entity that was collaboratively established by top U.S. crypto exchange Coinbase and blockchain financial services company Circle, which issues USDC, stated that USD's coin reserves will soon be entirely held in cash and short duration U.S. treasuries. Again, just recently, they came out and said they had X amount of cash reserves and the rest were assets that equated to it. They didn't really say what those assets were. I've called BS on it when it happened, so I'm assuming that it is. That's why they're like, all right, we're getting over to cash and U.S. treasuries. This will be interesting to see how this will work as far as inflation. If we do go into some type of super inflation next year, I want to see will stable coins remain stable or will they actually be kind of priced out of the ecosystem, perhaps. But all in all, what's going on with USDC and this consolidation?
Oh, yeah. So we did discuss it back in May. And USDC, they were backed by 61% by cash and cash equivalents, and then 12% by U.S. treasuries. Certificate of deposits denominated at 13% of the backing was the token. 9% was commercial paper. Corporate bonds was 5%, and then municipal bonds was 0.2% of the backing. So there's like a basket of investments that backs USDC. If you think that is weird, if you look at the dollar, it's backed by a whole bunch of other shit that is basically worse, in my opinion. Only problem I have with stable coins is, like you said, inflation. How do you keep up with inflation? Do you have to continually print more dollars or continually print more USDC? Yes. And when that happens, it becomes harder and harder to keep stable. And of course, anything that's backing it, if it falls apart, any of those bonds, commercial bonds, you may have an issue. So hopefully, as they say, they wanted to be backed by a dollar in a bank account. But we'll see if they actually pull that out. Because stable coins to me right now, the only thing that makes it stable is the company. You have to trust the company that's issuing it. And if the company that's issuing it is backed by Goldman Sachs, who's been running our dollar forever, then I can see it succeeding, but I just don't see it going really anywhere outside of getting fees. They get fees every time you use it. That's pretty much it. So yes, even though it is 61% backed by cash, well, shit, that's better than the current fiat system. because our cash is backed by literally nothing. Only the military and the good faith of of your local government or federal government. So yeah, USDC, they have some issues, but I feel like they'll come out a little bit bigger than Tether simply because they got the right people behind it. Goldman Sachs is the company behind it. So I don't think they're gonna let it fail at all.
You know, I will agree with that statement, at least in the short term. For the short term, none of these big companies are going to let their projects fail because it's going to be just like an embarrassment type of thing. And really, they don't even need it to succeed. They need it to last. They need it to last 2 to 4 years. Actually, I would say 3 to 4 years traditional. But with the way this, I will say 2 to 4 with the way that it's moving. For a lot of these projects, USDC, Tether, they need to show proof of concept, especially the people creating it or working at these projects. They're just trying to show proof of concept. If they can make their stablecoin take over, great. But I think by and large, a lot of these projects are also seeing that's probably not going to happen. They're not going to do as well as they thought. But being behind the project, working on the project, getting involved in space could prove to be just as valuable as actually getting something like a USDC running long term. But yeah, I think long term is like the internet. These would be the on-board and off-board, on ramps and off ramps. But as far as like USDC being the stablecoin, I think it's going to depend on the platform, which of course is going to depend on who's backing it, which of course will depend on crypto education because, I mean, Gemini, GUSD, who's to say that one doesn't partner with someone and all of a sudden takes off? Tether, again, people hate it, but Tether's still here and they're the longest one that's still here. So that we have to see what happens with that. That's going to be crazy. I saw some pretty cool comments I want to get to. I was going on Crypto Seed. He said almost 11-ish today. LOL. Yes, almost 11-ish. I was trying to get the sponsor downloaded. Again, shout out to GSX for the sponsored advertisement today's show. For sure, the links will be in the chat afterwards. If you're curious about them, check them out. We'll show you that competition toward the end. What's going on, JJ? And Cario says, not the years, it's the mileage. That is true. What's going on, Trek PFC Will? So you should get Seth to remind your biz. He's an OG in for real. All right, we got to look at that. Seth, remind your biz. We definitely got to check him out. Timothy Grisby, what's going on? John Moses said, OG miners are teenagers today making thousands. That is very true as well. JJ said he lost his crypto by sending it to a scam address that said it would double my money in case anybody like the IRS is wondering. I low-key accidentally did the same thing the other day, man. Like, I only had a little bit of crypto anyway, but some address it'll triple my money. I sent it all there. So hopefully they might get back to you every now and then.
I lost mine in a boat in Miami. So if you want to go fishing around down there, you can find it.
There it is. Chris L said, heads up, BB is dropping a Marvel New Mutants first Deadpool appearance NFT comic book today at 8 a.m. Get it before it's gone. There it is, folks. Thanks again for those BB reminders, everyone. Edward, this is a great, pretty good comment I saw. I don't agree with it, but I thought it was a good comment. Edward Arroyo said, passing the infrastructure bill legitimizes the crypto industry. They just want taxes. If cryptos goes up, more tax revenue. If U.S. restricts the crypto industry, no tax revenue. So I'm with you. I do agree that they do want more taxes, which is why they're going to come after it. But I think, and I also will agree with the full statement. Passing the infrastructure bill more than likely does legitimize the crypto industry to the masses, right? But that's the issue, is the fact that everyone's waiting for it to be legitimized to them by other human beings. When in reality, the code has already legitimized it. That's why we keep telling people, read the white paper, like look at the software. It is like, it's anyone can use it. It is distributed software. Anyone can use it. There's no owner. There's no one person that's in charge of everything. So again, that itself makes it legitimate to me. The government coming in with bills and all that, maybe to Wall Street, to the traditional markets, that might legitimize it in their eyes, but that is not what legitimacy is in cryptocurrency. And Bitcoin in this space, that is not what legitimacy is. Legitimacy is based off of bits, zeros, and ones. It's based off the software. So that's the part I got to push back on. But I do get what you're saying. To the mainstream, they will say is more legitimate, but at the end of the day, the code is making legitimate already. So that's my thought on that.
Code is law.
Code is law.
Not people. Yeah.
John Doe, thank you for the tip. John Doe said harems.io. We are dropping this week, minting on Friday. We also signed live girls, OnlyFans, influencers to join the collection. Well, I will say for those who are interested in that, check it out. But I think those OnlyFans girls are now Subway workers, right? Isn't that what
Kevin Samuels.
isn't that old boy said?
Subway,
Kevin Samuels said, "Hey, I just hope
Subway's
Subway will
always
still be
hiring.
hiring."
Hey, if you can't go to Subway, come on over to NFTs. We about to get it popping. They can't shut us down. We only accept crypto. We don't got no problem with MasterCard.
There it is. Or it looks like John's Doe Harums.io as well. It's crazy some of these NFTs. All right, last but not least, FTX is back in the news. I see what FTX is doing. Here's my thing: when I see all these deals and all this money getting thrown around from places like FTX, it's the same thing I saw with XRP. And I almost wonder, like, is the money real? Like, where is it coming from? Is the money real? FTX buys the naming rights to Cal Memorial Stadium for 10 years and $17.5 million deal. I mean, already, crypto's here to stay for the next 10 years, people. Like, FTX just bought this for the next 10 years. So unless they pivot in another 5 years, everyone pivoted in 2017 to the blockchain stimulus package. I don't know if pineapple's going to be popular and they pivot to a fruit blockchain stimulus package or a fruit package. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't see them pivoting their business. So as long as it stays FTX and they're dealing in crypto, literally you'll have a crypto company over this stadium for the next 10 years. Bitcoin's what's going on with Cal Memorial?
Oh yeah, and they also signed a similar deal with the Miami Heat. So it seems as though FTX is taking their digital money and they're turning it into real estate, and they're putting their name, slapping their name basically on everything, basically showing you we're here to stay, like you said. And the California Golden Bears, their Cal Memorial Stadium, will have the branding of FTX for 10 years. They signed a $17.5 million naming rights deal with the university. And of course, in March, they entered a naming rights deal with the Miami Heat. So they're basically slapping their name everywhere. They're the official crypto exchange of Major League Baseball. So that's at least 5 years where they're there. So when we tell you that anything Sam Bankman-Fried is behind, FTX is behind, they're probably going to be here long term. This is a good indication here. And a lot of people are doing this when they make billions or $100 million in the industry. They usually take that and convert it to fiat, and then they get things like this, naming rights, they get sponsorships, just a way for their branding to increase. Because again, FTX is still a company. They still need to be branded, and they still need to be marketed. And once more people figure out that FTX exists, I think they'll become probably the biggest exchange in the US at some point. Now, right now, I think Coinbase is just waiting to be taken over, and Binance is having too many troubles. Gemini does his thing, but I just don't think they can catch up with FTX. So shout out to them, keeping it moving. I mean, shit, next week, whoever has an open name stadium, FTX is going to come probably slap their name on it. So just be ready if you got any naming rights up for bidding.
A couple of things from this article. First, you know what? I joked about it, but I actually guessed it right. The $17.5 million will also be paid to the university in the form of crypto assets. Like I said, where did the money come from? Listen, crypto assets, people, it's the reason why they don't specifically say the cryptocurrency. You got to remember, these writers know what they're talking about. So do the people reporting to the writers, telling them what they're talking about. So we're talking about Dogecoin, all right? We're talking some Cardano in there. We're talking everything in there, I think. They got a basket of cryptos as you can get on Coinbase, I think. Isn't that what's called, a basket or whatever?
A basket of cryptos, yeah.
Bundles, the baskets. But essentially, I mean, if you're FTX and you're already buying up stuff and you talking that talk, I could see schools partnering with them. And it looks like here, shout out to the actual company too. This is pretty cool to see. Some of FTX executives also have a long-standing ties to Cal Golden Bears, where their chief operating officer, Sena Nadar, having been a walk-on member of the Golden Bears when he was an undergrad. So shout out to them for going. I mean, that is going back to the community, being like, no, this is my college. Like, we about to take care of y'all. But also, I can also see that partnership, like I said, being married with some Dogecoin in there or something like that. Like, that's why I was like, hold on, crypto. How are they paying for all these stadium rights? But it's like, yeah, if Dogecoin has been hot in the news and you can convince a college, yeah, take 5-7 million in Doge, take another 6 in this Cardano stuff, and from there you all can do what you want with it. It may be the thing that sealed the deal. So that was pretty interesting to see as well. Some of the crypto assets they may or may not be using.
Oh, so basically that means everybody on FTX is paying for it. That's basically what they're telling you. It's like, we're not paying for it. They are. They keep trading it.
Exactly.
Price. You all can have it.
Let's see. For sure, D Big said, like the morning discipline. Thanks for the content, bringing us the news consistently, for sure, for sure. But we are super disciplined. It will always be at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., not an ish. Ali Pio, now with OnlyFans removing nudity, NFTs has the open road to success. Have the OnlyFans people swap platforms? LOL. Great point, actually. You've been talking about it, and they did just shut them down. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. Omar Banks says Cardano's recent growth sustainable. I think if they come out with an actual product, yes, then it is. If they come out with something that's pretty good and works, I won't say pretty good. If they come out with something halfway decent that works, I think yes. Right now, there's nothing. So for sure. Let's see. Any other comments? Bitcoin, is that you have anything?
Nothing here. I did see somebody say something about cold storage on a phone. I do want to say cold storage is when it's never been connected to the internet, or that's air gap, never been connected to the internet. So you can't use an air gap phone. But if it has been connected, or if it's, before, it's not necessarily cold storage, but it works. All I would say is from a security standpoint, if it has been connected to the internet, it's not technically cold storage. But if they can't afford a treasure, that can work. So I just want to answer that question real quick. But other than that, make sure you grab that masterclass. A lot of people snatching it up after the meetup. And a lot more coming after that. Like I said, stand behind it, and a lot of great information in there. So look out for that.
Yes, and thank you for everybody who supported that. Also, Bitcoin Zane and I are meeting today, so we'll be figuring out a date for the masterclass, the first masterclass Q&A. I'm glad we waited because we, like I said, every day we literally every day we have people trickling in. So this first Q&A should be a pretty good one, and we will be throwing out those dates soon. But again, that will be for those who bought any version of the masterclass. You'll be getting an invite to a live Q&A on Zoom, so you can ask questions that you may have from the masterclass that you're confused about or you're just not understanding. That's the time we're going to take with you to go over everything. All right, let's see. Somebody said the price of treasure was high. Someone else said, what's the price of financial sovereignty? I love it. What's going on, Jam? Shout out to Jam. Shout out to JJ. Simon Family Investment Ventures. Shout out to them, of course. We're surely shorting out our basket together. I guess they're figuring out their basket together. They said, shout out to P. Grisby for the collaboration of the best coins to hold. And of course, Simon Family Adventures, we had them on live before. They're living down in Mexico, living their cryptocurrency dreams. So shout out to them as well. Let's see. Crypto culture's up, Kenzie. FTX got serious Tether ties. The Tether banking mafia is using them to expand. Binance was up next. You know what? That's a whole nother thing to get into. But what if Tether did partner with FTX to get rid of some of that loot? That makes a lot more sense.
A whole lot of watch trading and money laundering going on.
Hilarious. And last but not least, definitely going to throw this GSX video on one more time. Again, our show sponsor of the day was GSX. The links will be under the show as soon as we post it, if you all want to check them out. And again, they also have a competition going on right now. They're calling it like their $1 million competition. They're giving out $1 million in gold and GSX tokens, as well as a chance to win a supercar. I think they had like a Lambo, of course, and some other things on there. So if you're interested in all that, check out GSX. Again, thank you for being our show sponsor for the day. GSX is the world's first growth coin that is backed by assets in real gold. They are currently running a campaign of the biggest crypto competition ever. GSX has the ultimate referral competition, the Golden Millionaire competition, and the $1 million supercar competition, each with a grand prize of $1 million in gold in GSX, with the first two places also taking home supercar. GSX is a stablecoin trust backed by physical gold and mines. GSX holders are the trust beneficiaries of the companies involved, the mines, the equipment, and buildings, the future refinery, and all land rights, gold and metals therein. What this means is that even if something were to ever happen to Apollo FinTech, the assets would be sold and the proceeds will go directly to the holders of GSX. GSX will be redeemable for its gold value, so it will help it to maintain a more constant price. One of the best elements of GSX is the vision behind it. The vision behind GSX is to create the perfect investment instrument. The number one goal behind GSX is to mine and process every element of lithium-ion batteries, setting GSX